All right, everyone, it's Friday. Welcome to another edition of Q&A with Alan and Marshall. I'm Marshall Atkinson.
I'm Alan Howe with Easyweed.
And welcome to our show. And today, we're so happy that we have Joe Piazza with Caesar with us. How you doing today, Joe?
Very good. Thank you guys so much for having me on the show. Been patiently waiting for my opportunity, so thank you so much.
Well, yeah, it's going to be great. So Alan and you go way back, but this is the first time we've met, and I'm so excited to meet you and get to know all about HTV because, frankly, it's embarrassing. I know very little about it. And it's going to be great.
And I know a little, as you know, Joe, I know a little bit about it and try to keep up just on products because I used to work for a distributor that sold it where I met. I don't even know if you worked for Caesar then, Joe. It may have been
when was this?
2015.
No, I was here. I started at Caesar in 2014.
Yeah, so I just started. I was with tech support, and then before I went to Potty. But but I mean, I know a little bit, but enough to be stupidly dangerous on it and say the wrong information. So as you know, I will call you, Brad, Kathleen, any of your team a lot.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. And but that's what we're here to do.
And this is such a new one for us because we work, Marshall and I work in that, what I call the garment decorating, not as much in the crafting. And I think there's a lot of misnomers that this is a market that a lot of people have. I know clients of mine have. I've actually been on sales calls with Brett. And I think it's just something that is going to be great for our viewers. So I'm excited, Marshall.
Okay, before we get going, there's a couple kind of, things we need to take care of. First, if you're watching, please say hello. We want to know where you're watching from, what you do. By the way, do you use HTV? We want to know that, right? And then this is a Q&A show, so you would be remiss if you didn't ask Joe some questions. And we're going to get into some topics, so please get those kind of queued up in your brain. We want you to put those in the comments. We want you to participate. That's the big thing. This is a Q&A show. We can't have a Q&A if we don't have the Q part. Okay?
And make sure to tell us where you're from and share this. That's how we get viewers because you can see it all through the week and on YouTube. So make sure you share it and tell everybody.
Yeah, and the other thing is please share that you're watching. Please, please, please share. We love it when you share. That helps us promote the show more. So hit the share button right now. And then lastly, if you haven't given StreamYard permission to use your likeness and name, you can go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give them permission. Otherwise, you show up as Facebook user. Okay, so that's important that you do that. So anyway, so let's say hi to some people that are watching. Cindy says good morning. Hey, Cindy.
Hey, Cindy.
Lucia Morte says, hey, Joe.
Hey.
Sean says hi, everyone. Yosta says hi from Sweden. He's a Caesar user.
What's happening?
Kisa says good morning.
Morning, Kisa.
Jane says Joe was hard to hear. So, Joe, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
So,
can you guys hear me?
We can just be louder.
Speak louder.
I can get loud.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Do it.
Kelly says good morning from BC.
British Columbia, great.
Sean says we do use HTV. That's good. Hold on, Skip. Lucia says from Italy. She's watching from Italy. So
is that from? Is she with Caesar, Joe?
Oh no, she's just a very awesome avid user. So
awesome, great. Welcome to the show, Lucia.
And I think you know where I'm from, Odessa, Texas. Thanks, Cindy. Molly Mel says hello from San Diego. I use Caesar for fun. That's great. Mr. Walsh is here. Good morning, Peter. Good to see you. Mario says good afternoon from Slovenia. Cheers, guys.
Great, Mario.
Frank Good says good morning from Houston. Lucia gives us some hearts. We love that, Lucia. Thank you. And West Virginia here. Hello. So that's knocking some stuff out. So congratulations, everyone. Thank you for watching and participating. We're going to get into some topics real quick. And the first one is, this is really, hold on, let me turn you off. Oh, hold on. How do we, what happened? We have new comments. Oh, here we go. I'm reading some HTV right now.
Hopefully it's Caesar HT.
Hopefully it's Caesar. Yeah.
So this is really for me, okay, because I'm an uneducated, ignorant person on HTV, because I come from high volume background, right? So is it all about unit of one? Kind of walk me through that, because I'm sure there's other people watching that really want to know what this is about, how they can get started. Why should I really pay attention to this, Joe?
Okay. Well, first off, thank you to all the viewers that are watching as well. Much love from all over the world, which is beautiful. For all the Caesar viewers watching right now, you guys know the drill. Make sure you give the love and the sharing and all that stuff for the show. And they can also probably chime in and talk about the usage of Caesar product, which to me speaks more volumes than me talking about a product that we make. So. But to answer your question, it's come a far way from where it was back, I don't know, even 10 years ago, I would say. It wasn't as avidly used the way it is now. And just to kind of start off, because there is that title or connotation of crafter when they think about heat transfer vinyl, and that's surely what we call it, and we use it as a kind of jump off point of it. But I really don't like using that all the time because it discourages other people. So I kind of say there's a lot of young entrepreneurs or new entrepreneurs, because it's a lot of people that kind of get their feet wet in the whole umbrella of this industry when it comes to decoration. Now, to answer that question, I mean, as somebody that personally uses the Caesar products in my own basement to do stuff for local businesses and things around, it doesn't have to be just one-off. This is where we go to customers that you're used to talking to that do screen printing and large format printing and industrial size runs, that when they turn away the opportunity or business from a customer that comes to them and says, hey, I want to get like 3 of these done or 10 of these done, and they'll just turn and kind of laugh at their face and walk away from that business, they're really turning their back on so much potential little fish that it kind of, they take away a lot of missed opportunity from there. And I think from a lot of people that are watching right now, and like mentioned, the people that are weeding, again, hopefully Caesar, the application, or I should say the pre-production of the usage of our products is exponentially faster than what most are used to. So the way our products, a lot of our, like, I'll just throw out our Easyweed family, that has different types of products within it, but they all have the same workability. So they all have quick application, multi-layering, 1-second tacks, low heat application, as well as faster weeding tricks to speed up that process, which if you're not familiar with weeding, Marshall, that's when the vinyl cutter cuts it out. You have to remove away the negative material. So it can sometimes, when you have large runs, it can be kind of time-consuming, meticulous. But with our products, such as the Easyweed family, there's ways of speeding up that process to make it even faster. So we have customers that, you know, they show stuff in our social media, you know, because we have obviously our platforms on Facebook and our groups, and people show jobs that they do for people that might contain 50 garments, or they might contain 1. It's an entire plethora of different kinds of things they can do. Now, to just play devil's advocate and go on the other side, if somebody said, I have a job for 100 shirts, would I use heat transfer vinyl over screen printing or some of the other faster applications? No, I'm going to give it to screen printing. There's no doubt about it. It's just screen printing doesn't have the capacity of all the other finishes and specialty outcomes that might add some uniqueness and one-of-a-kind to that garment that some of our products have.
Especially on a smaller usage of 1 to 5 to 10.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we've got some comments. So Shauna says they're using Caesar glitter for some Easter baskets. That's great.
Oh, wow.
Lucia says best results. That's awesome. Cindy says we use Caesar for small things like putting names on the back of jerseys or when a customer wants just 2 or 3 of a shirt with a simple design. I think that's probably what most people do. Don't you think, Joe?
Well, it depends because, again, I think again, names and numbers, and as Alan and I were discussing earlier, that was what heat transfer vinyl was.
Right.
Back in the day, names and numbers on the backs of jerseys was what vinyl was known for. Again, it has come so far that, yes, if you're doing a simple design, if you have 2 to 3 garments to decorate, yes, I would go with our heat transfer vinyl or Easyweed colors or whatever, kind of plain and simple. But just like what I'm wearing on my shirt right now, this is heat transfer vinyl, and this is a multicolor image. So we also have an entire other world where with large format printers, from eco-solvent, solvent to latex, all the way to even if you want to use sublimation, we have a product that will allow you to do multicolor images and have a lesser hand in a lot of cases where a lot of colors are. And Alan, you probably know with screen printing, you start putting 8 to 10 colors of inks on there, the hand is going to start feeling a little heavier. It can. And with our heat transfer vinyl that's print and cut, you can do that without having any minimum there as well. So it depends on where you want to go with it, but we do certainly have a remedy. We have an option that is going to be conducive in any of these facets.
I think, and Joe, I love the shirt that you have because you said it's multicolor. I would call that as a digital print. That is full color.
Full color, yeah.
Yep. And that is something that in screen, especially in small run, 50 and under, you just can't get. To set that up would be just outrageous.
Well, unless you're doing DTG.
That's irrelevant. It would be outrageous.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing DTG, but with DTG, you're restricted to what? Cotton or maybe 50-50?
Very true. Yeah.
So you still have the limitations. Like with this heat transfer vinyl, this is actually on one of those all-made shirts.
Right.
And is that what it's called? All-made.
All-made, which is a tri-blend type. Yep.
Yeah. So it's something I don't think you'd actually be able to do with a DTG.
Right.
But it is an option. I'm just saying that this right here is a vinyl, and it's very light to the hand. It's, this is a stretchy shirt. And again, like you said, this is an image of somebody. I don't know how clean a picture of somebody could go with screen printing and or DTG.
Okay. So we have some comments. So Kelly says, I use PSV to make temporary screens for bigger runs. It works great.
Precious PSV is pressure sensitive vinyl.
Yep.
Okay.
That's cool.
So Kelly, I don't know if Kelly's a guy or a girl, but they make screens and they're just printing through that? Is that?
Yeah, I've seen it. So for a quick screen on usually not a lot of detail, they'll cut it out, they'll apply it. I don't know, it can come off depending on the pressure sensitivity.
Oh, I see. So they're making the stencil with the vinyl.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
Okay.
And now the technical screen guy in me, it makes me cringe a little bit. The realist says, hey,
whatever works.
If it's make money, you win.
Yeah,
you know. So
hey, that's getting crafty right there.
So, that is getting crafty. Yeah.
Don't underestimate the crafters.
I print on High Five.
I don't know what High Five is. Do you know, Joe?
High Five is one of our products.
What is it?
There's one
So High Five is a digital print and cut product that can work on a large format printer. So eco-solvent, solvent, or latex. Yep. It has a matte finish, and hence the name. It's one of our newer print and cut products, but it's really, really awesome because you have a larger window of application times. So, or application temperatures, I should say, as well. So you could go with High Five. What's beautiful about that product is, and we all know that polyesters are a bane in this industry
Yes,
of
they are.
getting something without it scorching and dealing with that. But with high 5, you can apply it as low as about 265 degrees for about 5 seconds. So you can do like what I have on my garment, full color design, and you can press it onto a polyester or any fabric. It's just that that's a product that is fast application, nice matte finish, and yeah.
And you're just printing with a Roland printer?
Roland, we work closely with Roland, Mamaki. We have an HP latex that we play around with. We do all of various testings inside our office here and do our wash tests and play around with it. Now, we don't have every printer out there. That's the one problem that we have on our end, but we learn a lot from our own customers that may have a different type of printer. They might find a result that might be a little bit better than what we suggest, and we kind of say go with it. If it works, it works.
Right. So Frank says HTV is best for hard placements, bags, caps, etc.
Absolutely.
Our buddy Charles says, hey.
Charles out of New Mexico.
Cindy says, did you send the vinyl through a Gerber?
A Gerber? I haven't heard that in forever.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, we don't really use Gerbers as much. We used to have punched material, which I think is what you needed for that.
Yeah.
But you can, theoretically. We just don't really cater to Gerber vinyl cutters anymore.
But, Joe, I might be wrong.
What do you recommend, Joe?
For a vinyl cutter?
Yeah.
Really, any of them. I have my own personal biases in my industry, and I'll probably get killed for it because predominantly it's small vinyl cutters like a Silhouette or a Cricut. Like those are the 12-inch to 15-inch vinyl cutters, little desktop cutters. That's what I see mostly with our customers and online and stuff like that. But me personally, I'm one that's into like the 27-inch and above. You know, I like the industrial. I've always been a huge Roland fan.
Yep.
Graphtex are fantastic. Even my friends, I'll give them a shout out to US Cutter. They've hooked us up with a couple different ones that I really like called the Titan is what I use at home. And then what I'll show you with that example for that Heisenberg shirt was cut with their vinyl cutter called a Prism cut. And that's how detailed of a cut it can get. So I'm really not anything particular. I just like the larger cutters better.
Okay. All right. And so Kelly says, I cut the design, stick it to a speedball screen, run the ink, and then remove.
Perfect.
There you go. Lucia says, I'm making some wood decorations using Caesar Easy pattern for Easter.
I love it.
Now, for the wood patterns, Joe, you wouldn't use a heat transfer. You would use a PSA, correct?
A PSV? Yeah.
PSV.
Like, so our other product line too, Marshall, was called Easy PSV. And most people just say PSV, so that's pressure sensitive vinyl. And our pressure sensitive vinyl is just like decal vinyl. So we have a whole nother line at Caesar that would be more for hard substrates, like what Lucia is explaining here. But she knows too, and what I love to hear is when people go outside of the box with our heat transfer vinyl. I love when people push the boundaries and defy what we tell them not to do, and then they have a good run, and that to me is even cooler. So I love to hear that our Easy pattern is a heat transfer pattern material. So it's being heat applied onto a hard substrate. So
she's going to send you photos.
Okay, she knows where to send it right into the Caesar group.
So James is here. Good morning, James.
Hey,
how you doing, buddy? And the Decorator podcast says, hey, y'all. Hey, y'all.
That's where I'm at right now. I'm in their studio.
Oh, Decorate 8 is your guys' podcast.
Hey, which one of those cartoon characters is Pat?
The one on the left.
Okay.
All right.
All right. And Cindy says, I mean, to get to full. Oh, wait, hold on. What was her first question? Oh, did you send the vinyl through a Gerber? She goes, I mean, to get to full color. So your shirt you're wearing, that's what she wants to know.
I used, I unfortunately got me kind of at a stalemate with the Gerber. I'm not fully privy to the ins and outs of that. Again, that was before my time. I know they still exist. You can always contact us. Feel free to reach out to us at info@caesarna.com if you have questions about our product and the printer you're using. But what I used to print on this was an eco-solvent printer, which I just have a Roland out in our main area. So Roland eco-solvent printer is what I use to print on this.
Right. Yeah. Well,
I
she
believe
clarified a little more. So we cut our things on a Graph Tech. I was just wondering for the full color going through a Gerber. So
I believe the full color Gerber she's talking about, and Cindy,
those are resin
if I'm wrong,
inks.
is a thermal, is almost like a thermoset film.
Yeah.
They haven't made
I
them in
think
a
those
while.
use like resin inks too, and I don't know how well. Again, you'd have to call us, give us a call, give our tech support a call, because I'm not 100% sure on how well it works.
okay. So here's our next topic, Joe, which is what are we missing, right? So I wanted to explore this a little bit from a business use case. So talk about some examples on profitability, how easy it is to sell, decorate, why I should add that to my lineup, that kind of thing. So talk about that a little bit.
Okay. Well, like I said in the beginning, and what a lot of, like I was saying about the large run businesses that you're familiarized with, Alan's familiarized with, screen printers, sublimators, you name it. The ones that are doing large runs all the time. And there's nothing wrong with it, and it's not going anywhere in this industry. The problem is, especially right now, and especially what's going on right now in our world and the plight and all that stuff, if you look into our world, again, of the crafters, and you look at a website such as Etsy, and you look at places like that where people are doing customization and personalization, which tend to be one per, right? These are missed opportunities that these larger industry runs, those businesses are missing out on. So they're, and the way I look at it is they're just looking at a little crack in front of them, but behind them they got the Grand Canyon, and they're not paying attention to it. And there's a lot of opportunity in there that, again, it's getting past the taboo thought of what HTV once was, the feel of it, the crunchiness of it, the heaviness, the limitations of it, and explore the full opportunity of new ways of showcasing things that might be different than your own competitors. Because you guys know, in that industry, there's how many different screen printers that you guys work with. And those in that industry are inevitably competitors. Now, if they started adding something that adds dimension or adds some uniqueness to those garments that make it different than the other person, that's going to set them apart. And we have, outside of the product I just kept talking about that we do, which is Easyweed, that's our main product, like Alan had mentioned, we have a glitter product, we have a strip lock product, we have a brick product, we have a holographic product. These are all different unique heat transfer vinyls that add these one-of-a-kind looks to that garment. So from there, it's just a matter of how they're going to market it and cater it to that end user. And before you know it, the ball starts rolling. I mean, we see it on a daily basis.
Yeah, so you could maybe do a multimedia shirt where you've got maybe a screen printed shirt, and then you take a product and you cut out, I don't know, a butterfly or something, and you could stick it on there, and it just has to be somewhere in the area, so it doesn't have to have tight registration or anything, and it's on top, but you can't, maybe it's with holographic a product or something. There's no way you could print that, and that's going to add a whole nother layer of interest to that garment.
Exactly. And that's another cool thing about our products. They work with plastisol inks, so you can definitely work with screen printing. You can layer on top of it. We have products that, and I'll just show one with a regular cutter, but this white product on here. This is a sublimated polyester hoodie. And you guys all know, imagine that though, Alan. I can't, there we go. Imagine getting that white. You see how vibrant that white is on this sublimated red. Like, you know exactly what's going to happen any other way.
It is the worst material to print on, screen print. You said sublimated material right there, and I just like a pit in my stomach.
So that is an example right here. That white right there is that is an option of our line called Easyweed Subblock, and that is what it's formulated for you to finally do opportunities with certain kind of fabrics that are very, very temperamental and have problems all the time. And we know that sublimated polyesters, mostly, as Alan cringed, are very problematic. We have, like, nylon fabrics are always problematic for people to adhere to, and we have opportunity for that. I mean, you can just name it. There's so much opportunity for decoration, and instead of screen printers just pumping out just regular textiles all the time, they can expand their business into other kind of options to offer and you know, bring to the table. So there's a lot of missed opportunity. Great. It's just they got to get past that feeling of like, this is what heat transfer vinyl was, and it must still be that way, because it's not.
I think, Marshall, aside what I see out there in the field, aside from the large shops that are contract full volume and stuff, most of the medium shops, even a lot of them with 2 automatics, if they are diversified out, I'm thinking of, Marshall, our friends up in Saginaw, that, man, we're just on your success story. Great podcast, by the way.
Thank you.
They not only have multiple automatics and a lot of embroidery heads, but they are running a digital format. They do direct to garment. They do heat transfer vinyl. They do print cut. And yeah, it's just, I think it comes down to, Joe, know the market. Are you going to go into that market and then do it well? It's just another market profit center.
So it's really about problem solving more than anything.
Yeah.
It's, you know, and a lot of people, like I said, it can be overwhelming to look at our entire catalog, and I just kind of wanted to plug our brand new awesome color guide that we just got and we finished. But this is like gold on the streets right now because we can never keep up on it. But this is just an example of something that we used to offer. Well, we do offer, but it used to be at shows and stuff. But this is how big, and it keeps going. It used to only be a 3-fold. But this is what our catalog looks like now of opportunity, and that's front and back. So this is all different product offerings. So I think a lot of what new customers and people like that are so set in their ways with, you know, screen printing and sublimation, they are too intimidated to know where to begin with. And it's kind of ironic because we've seen our growth from people that are just starting. They may have started with just doing simple decal vinyl designs, and then they start seeing, oh, well, I can decorate shirts with 1 or 2 colors, and then they start expanding from there, and it grows from that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Greg says, Greg's here, gentlemen. Good morning, Greg. Yosta says, which product is most flexible, stretchy for sportswear?
Kelly down farther just answered that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that.
Kelly, what's happening? Yeah, that's right. So I got the troops hanging out. I love it.
I love it, man. These are new viewers for us. So.
Yeah, so they know, Kelly knows Easyweed Stretch is, and I always say it too, because people, if they ask me, and I'm forthright, if I had to pick my favorite of the Caesar product line of our regular cuttable product, so not the print and cut, but the regular cuttable product, Easyweed Stretch is my favorite. And I'm just going to jump right into it to blow some minds. And Alan asked me to bring this shirt on here. But this shirt right here, believe it or not, is all Easyweed Stretch. So it's actually 5 colors of our Easyweed Stretch. I'll give it a little stretch to show you. This is actually just 100% cotton, but as you can see, with five colors of our Easyweed Stretch, that's right, that's heat transfer vinyl on there. but that is my favorite product line that we have. I'm a little biased to it. It is our thinnest, obviously, hence the name. It is stretchable. We're going to be doing a little bit of an adjustment in the future to try to not to confuse people, because I think right now the deceptive thing is stretch in the name, so people think it only works for stretch. So it's still been a lot of educating people to know that you can use Easyweed stretch on anything you want to decorate. It's just recommended if you do have a stretchier fabric like a Lycra and the spandex, and you want that, that's the product line to go to.
Okay. Lucia says, loves the glitter. Cindy says, I love the glitter. You got a lot of glitter fans.
Those are the glitter fans.
Mike Woolbright says, hi. Cindy says, can you heat press the Caesar on top of screen print and it stays?
Yes. With Plastisol inks, we have done multiple different testing with washing. As long as you do the heat application correctly, and that's what I always have to stress. I assume if you're doing screen printing, you have a heat press. So this is another thing too, Marshall. You got to understand, in our world, a startup to get into working with Caesar heat transfer vinyl is basically a startup of, I'm going to just roughly say, about $300. You got $300, you can get yourself a vinyl cutter, and you can use a home iron and some pieces of Caesar product, and you got yourself a business. And so what a lot of our customers that are just starting don't want to invest into a heat press, because a heat press pricing can be quite intimidating for a lot of the new starters. So another great thing about our product is you can start with just your home iron. So what you have at home, you could simply set it, use some pressure, and apply your transfer onto it. But as you're probably saying in your head, there's no way that always works. You're right. There's a lot of variables to using a home iron. So when I stress before I say, if it was applied correctly, and what I imply by that is that you actually used the heat press and you applied it correctly, then you shouldn't have any issues with doing that application.
Okay, good.
Great question, Cindy.
Kelly says, I love pushing the limits of my materials. I've done one garment and incorporated sublimation on glitter vinyl, then use Easyweed metals and screen print to embellish it. There you go.
That's right. That's right. Are you ready to get your mind blown on that?
Dazzle cloth, yuck, especially red. So, she hates that, Joe.
What's a dazzle cloth? Is that what it's called?
I don't know.
Dazzle cloth is another polyester, almost nylon. I thought Dazzle was, but it's a tough one.
Oh, we did that one. So sorry. Kelly Michelle. Right. This is one of the reasons for trade shows, great product displays and information. Cindy, we're your trade show connection right now.
That's right. And Cindy, I'm sure you'll be at ISS Fort Worth, correct?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Kelly says it's the only one I use, especially for women's wear where you need extra movability. Sean wants to know, how do Caesar products compare to their competitors? Is there something that makes Caesar have better adhesion, apply at lower temps, weed easier, etc.?
Yes.
Yes. It's as simple as that. We have an opportunity. We have an option for anything you need, and the amount of color option gamut that we have within each product line. Again, we have tricks and tips galore. I could go on and on, Sean. And if you ever want to see it for yourself, you can always visit our YouTube channel, which is where I have a ton of tips and tricks, different application instructions, so you can see all of our products in action. Of course, we do stuff all over social media, so I mean, we could certainly go, you know, one for one on every one of those concerns to show you why Caesar is the best.
I did, and that's where I saw Joe, that 5-color shirt with the Easyweed stretch on it. I did watch him on a video. Actually, he had it cut and layering it, and it was amazing.
You know why I had to do that? Is because I originally, real quick story, I posted just a picture of that shirt onto a group, and it blew up. It went viral. Like, people were amazed. But of course, there was that one person that tried to tell me it wasn't vinyl. And they were like, that's not heat transfer vinyl. And they were telling me. And I was like, no, I'm telling you, I just made the shirt. It's with our Easyweed stretch. And he was telling all these people in the comment thread that I was a phony, I was fake, it was all a lie. So I just kind of said, you want to bet? And I threw it out there, and he told me $50. And so, of course, I got my coworker here to film me, and I went through the entire process. I filmed the entire thing, cut it together, posted the video up, and it was kind of my drop the mic moment.
So, and did you get your money?
And he didn't pay me. He wanted to become buddies after that. He was like, oh, can I get that cut file? Or can you show me what I'm doing wrong and why I can't get all that detail? And, you know,
and what you wanted to say was, no, you deserve what you're doing now.
Yeah, I was like, you're telling people I'm fake and I'm phony. And I'm like, this is what I do. I would never lie. Why would I lie to you?
Yeah. Luckily for Marshall and I, we never get pushback on anything we say.
Well, let me tell you, Joe, Alan and I were talking last night about the keyboard ninjas, right?
Okay, yeah, exactly.
They're all over everywhere. We get them too. And so, and it's really, you know, I know I should do a better job of not getting sucked into to the spiral of doom. But sometimes you just can't help it.
You can't help it. Like, you know, that's what I do here. I've kind of just been on the forefront of social media. And I know that I'm not going to get everyone to like our products. And I know I'm not going to get everyone to like what I do and whatnot. But, like, there's still certain things that irk me to where I'm like, I have to try to prove this person wrong.
Yeah, and I hear you.
I have to try to show them, because this is the world we live in right now, is Rumorville, that just kind of, and I'm telling you, like, I get questions from people constantly about our products, and they tell me that I'm wrong. When I try to, like, fix the situation or remedy it, they're like, no, that's not what I was told. I'm like, well, you know, you're talking to, like, I work for Caesar. Like, this is what I do.
Because what we want to say is, well, you were told wrong.
All right. Hey, Jody has a question, Joe. So Jody says, any tips on cutting Easyweed stretch? I can never get it to cut without parts still attached by a thread, which makes weeding difficult.
Yeah, that is very common and a great question, Jody. I don't know what vinyl cutter you're using, but
right below she says, Marshall.
Oh yeah, using Cricut Maker iron-on with normal and more pressure. Is there a custom setting I can make so it cuts right the first time?
Okay, so that one you're going to have to test out a little bit. And what I advise, and I'm not 100% with Cricuts always, but you really want to make sure you have a good blade. So even for people that are watching this that are using industrial size cutters like the Roland or Graphtec, ideally use a 60-degree blade. So the sharper the blade, the better it's going to cut this product. Another thing you need to remember as well is if there is an option in the Cricut, as well as there are in the other cutters, to slow your speed down. You want to make sure that it slows down, because the problem with this product and how thin it is, if it runs over too fast, it causes it to kind of ripple, and then it'll kind of skip over a part. So the slower you cut it, the better it'll take on that detail in those curves, especially in detailed cuts. The third thing I'm going to say is to either in the Cricut or the Silhouette, if there's an option to do an overcut, take that option. If you are working with those other cutters, you're going to have to adjust your offset. So make sure your offset is adjusted first. This is why if you contact us at Caesar and you talk to any of the staff here, we will always advise to do a test cut first. So always do a test cut on your vinyl cutter with any of our products, and make sure that it is cutting accurately all the way around the product. You will be able to see in the score of the backing of whether or not it's cutting correctly.
Okay.
That's my advice.
Okay, good. That's good stuff. So Cindy says she's going to be in Fort Worth. That's awesome. We'll see you there. Sean says, do you still have the silicone style vinyl?
Silicone style vinyl?
Yeah.
We never really had a silicone vinyl, so I'm not 100% sure what's being referred to there.
All right, more explanation, Sean.
Yeah.
Lucia says, and Joe's the best teacher on YouTube.
There you got it.
Kelly says, hashtag and Joe we trust.
Well, I've never gotten that.
Yeah.
I guess Pat says, I work with Joe and I still think it's fake.
Everybody needs to know Pat's actually the cameraman behind right now for him.
Yeah. Joseph says, I love your YouTube. 6+ years he's been watching you, so keep it up.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Shane says, Easyweed Extra, 10 to 15 seconds is too long. Need shorter times. Good product, just needs shorter time. So can you use more heat or something? I mean, what's the...
Well, Easyweed Extra is predominantly, that particular line, Easyweed Extra, is a product that we recommend if you're going on nylons. And really, you don't want to go too hot. I don't know why 10 to 15 seconds would be long, but if you wanted to shorten it down, you can certainly crank up the temperature from 305 to 330, and then you can press it for about 6 to 8 seconds.
Good. And our pal Richard says he's shocked that someone didn't believe you.
I know. What kind of world are we living in?
You know what? Back in the days when they just followed everything we said blindly.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, exactly.
Kelly
I'm all
says,
about an argument.
Yeah.
make sure Joe plugs the Caesar app that has all the cut application settings for their products. Jody, this info is a good place to start. I have your webpage loaded. Is that on your webpage?
It is, but thank you so much, Kelly. I was going to throw it out there, and thank you for, that's what I mean. It's so much better when customers throw it out there. But
So here's your webpage. Where can I find that?
Well, the app's not going to be on the webpage.
Oh. Okay, well, never mind.
The app, if you just go to, if you have a Apple or an Android, just go to your App Store or your Google Play and just look up Caesar HTV, and it's going to be the first app that pops up. It's for free. Everything that Marshall just showed on our website in regards of all of our color swatches, our heat application instructions, cutter recommendations, our videos, all sorts of fun marketing on there. You have that at your fingertips for free on your phone. So if you're like me and you need to look up something while you're in the middle of doing something, you need to know what the application instruction is for a Caesar product, you can go right to your app. So
That's great.
It's
awesome.
a great tool.
You know, ink companies should do that, Alan.
They should. Chemical companies should do that.
Can you imagine?
My boss will be watching. They always are.
Hey, what's wrong with Easyway? How come you don't have an Easyway app that's got instructions about how to use your products?
Alex, if you're watching, that wasn't me. That was Mark.
All right.
Below the belt.
Yeah. So we got a couple comments. I want to get to the next topic. So thanks. I've been using a 45-degree blade. I'll try the 60. Good tip.
Great.
And Sean says, silicone, dye block, heat transfer, vinyl, dye blocking technology for apparel. I guess he meant from a competitor.
Okay.
That might be from a competitor.
There you go.
We don't have a silicone, but like what I showed on this product here, or on this garment, this is a product line that we have called Easyweed Subblock. And it is only in white, obviously, because that's where we run into the problems when it comes to dye migration. The question is, well, can you layer on top of that? Absolutely. So if you want to mix other colors and you didn't want to just do white, as long as the white is the underbase, now you can layer other colors of regular Easyweed on top of it. You just want to make sure that the white is the underbase. If it's going on a terrible fabric that's a sublimated polyester like this.
Good.
Yeah.
Fabrics made in the garment decorating pits of hell.
Right. Yeah. And then
Sorry, was that out loud? Oh my God.
she just pulled it up and has it on my phone now. So you just got a conversion.
Yay. Yeah, no, the app is a helpful tool, and make sure you enable the notifications, because what we need to get better and what we're going to get better with is to give everybody a heads up when we do our own Facebook Lives, when we do these different kind of virtual shows and stuff like this. So you guys will always be up to date on what's happening here at Caesar North America.
Good, good. So Mario says, can you talk a bit about pricing? Do you charge for weeding, time, and material? Are you adding any other costs if vector files are sent prepared? Thanks.
I know that was one of your topics too. So
yeah, let's just get to it. So okay. Where is it? What should be used more, right? So, so my thinking here with this topic was, you know, what products that aren't as popular that we should be doing more to make more money. That's kind of the gist behind that. So can you answer that, but answer Mario first. I want to make sure he's taken care of.
Yeah, well, Mario's is a little bit easier to answer. So the thing about pricing is absolutely, I always tell this to everybody, do not undercut your time. If you're doing art setup, you come up with an art setup fee. That's one thing. But I know in this case you were saying the art is coming already prepared. Next, I do always tell people to factor in, do a time study, and cut out one of those materials. So do your own time study to see how long did it take you to weed that design. It's going to be dependent on how many cavities are in there, which product you're using. And absolutely do your own due diligence and before you propose your cost. And I tell people all the time, because if you give a basic, you know, say I'm just going to use this side. So just simple text. I know that would take me, you know, 5 seconds to weed with Easyweed. But if I had a very intricate, a lot of cavities, that might take me a few minutes per transfer to weed. That's going to add up in the end. So you certainly want to do your own studying of how long it's going to take. And obviously, as I said, each design is going to be different. So once you do that, you certainly want to charge how long it takes. Your time is money. The material used, because if you use Easyweed, it's going to cost less by the sheet or by the yard versus if you used, let's just say, Strip Lock Pro or Brick 600 or some of the other products that add more dimension. That's going to cost you more on the back end. So you certainly want to figure out which product you're using and how long each garment's going to take you to make.
Could you make a little like spreadsheet that's just based on square inches? Like this is the time it usually takes or something. And so just a rough estimator for somebody.
I mean, we could theoretically come up with something. We did early on in the days. We had a what you could theoretically get done with 10 yards of Easyweed, and we had a chart on a shirt of how many left chests would you get out of that, how many full backs would you get out of that, how many full fronts would you get out of that, but it's very, very generic. I think a lot of people always kind of come to us with these kind of specific, like, how would I charge for this? What is the cost on this? And those are great concerns, and that's very important. But what I see more now than ever is people just kind of undercutting each other so much that nobody is making anything. And if you're doing this as a business, because again, our demographic is like 50-50. Some of them are doing it for the fun of the craft, for their family, for things, and they're not making money. Other people are getting into this to try to make money. And I try to explain to people, like, you don't want to give up your time. You don't want to give up the skills you're doing, because it's just kind of undercutting yourself, and you're not going to make anything out of that.
Yep.
And there's a lot of variables on which product they're using. So,
yeah, I bought, and we've talked about this before in our show, Joe. We're a big proponent of stick to your guns, stick to your pricing. You know, there's always some knucklehead that's going to be cheaper, so why go down that road?
Yeah,
exactly. And that's the way we look at it at Caesar with our personal way of business. We've never deviated from it. We've held that strong. We are a manufacturer, and we sell through a distributor chain. And the amount of times, even to this day, of educating people that we do not sell direct. So I'm letting everyone know now, you go to the website, we do not sell direct. And the amount of people that want to come to us all the time, and we stick to our guns with making sure that we're working with our partners, our distributors, our resellers, to make sure that everybody in between is making their money, right? Like, that's what it's about. Like, some of our competitors do both. They have a distributor, but then they end up selling direct. And it's just kind of, people don't understand how that's really kind of crumbling the industry and this market, and it doesn't help your customers.
Yeah. So Sean wants to know where to get the Caesar product, right? And Cindy says that she gets all their Caesar from GSG. So what distributors are you guys selling through? So like Sean lives in the Atlanta area, right? So who should he be buying from?
Well, considering that there is good potential that competitors are watching this, I'm just going to tell everyone that if you're looking for an authorized Caesar distributor, reach out to us at info@caesarna.com. We don't really like advertise it on, you know, obviously, as was mentioned, GSG is a great partner of ours, but we have a whole wide variety of local distributors and resellers that are absolutely authorized. They sell our product. They have our backing, because we also have a lot of people that use our name and it's not really our product. Right. So a very, very important thing that I cannot stress enough to your users, that if they are interested in Caesar product, that they do purchase from an authorized Caesar distributor. And if you don't know if it is, again, please reach out to us. Like Marshall showed you on that website, as well as the app, we have a Contact Us tab on there. So you can certainly go up to Contact Us. You can reach out to us at any time via email, ideally, because we're going to get right back to you, and we'll let you know who's in your area, because obviously we want to support local first.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have somebody in your local area, we have a lot of really great distributors that will be able to accommodate.
Here's a great tip from Cindy. On the app, you can find a distributor.
Oh, there you go. I forgot. Yeah, you're right. Well, all that's going to do is actually email info@CaesarNA. But yes, thank you, Cindy. That is true. It is on the app.
So, right. So just you know, our last guest 2 weeks ago was Mark Granberry from Graphic Solutions.
GSG.
Yeah. So Kelly says, Mario, some people use a formula of costs multiplied by 3 for the sale price. This should cover your time and add some profit too.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Hurley says, cutting Caesar brick right now. We use it on everything, trying a new technique today. Hurley, what new technique are you doing? Please share.
Especially with Caesar brick. So Joe, just tell them what that is.
So I have an example. I don't know how well you'll be able to pick it up. And yeah, it's probably hard to tell. But this is brick. So brick has the name.
Hey, Joe, have Pat hold it in front of the camera.
I've actually been solo in here for a minute.
Okay.
Like Pat's in and out.
Never mind.
We're so disappointed.
He's about to run live on our Facebook page. But it's okay. So just to go into technical, our Easyweed is 90 microns thick. Our Brick 600 is 600 microns. So it's over 6 times thicker than our Easyweed. So it's a very dense polyurethane-based heat transfer vinyl, which adds a lot of great dimension. So Hurley, I'd love to see the kind of projects that you do with the brick, because brick, I personally love it, but it is a very intimidating product for a lot of our customers, because again, it is so thick that a lot of customers are having a little issue trying to set up their vinyl cutter properly to cut it. So we try to help people out, advise people to show them how they can set it up first. And then once you cut it and you have your projects that you see, that is one right there that if a screen printer showed that capacity to an end user that you could do something like, so for all intents and purposes, just as an example, think of like Under Armour. like their little logo and how it's got some dimension to it. Like that's essentially like something you could do with brick. Like little things to add some flair to the actual garment. Because a lot of people say I wouldn't do a full front with it, but you can do all sorts of stuff with it, like hats, bags. I did a stadium seat, all sorts of stuff that's going to add dimension.
So it's like a high density print.
It's exactly what it is.
So
on YouTube, if you go to Richard Greaves is here on Scott Fresner's oh gosh, what was it? The T-shirt report. I actually, when you guys first came out with brick, I was actually interviewed. They had me go around and find out what's new at SGIA, and the brick was one of them. I had 3 products. I think Sublablock was the other 2.
I remember that. I think, didn't you interview Brett?
I didn't interview Brett. He gave me the samples, and then I got interviewed by Scott and Richard, because that was
that's what it was. And so just to give you another backstory about the brick real fast, when that came out though, Alan, it was 1,000 microns.
Yeah.
So it was almost double the thickness of what it is now. So
it's a great. So how would you cut it? Like you said, a 60-degree blade normally on Easyweed Stretch, on Easyweed on there. What blade? I mean, how would you cut that?
So again, with the vinyl cutters I use, like on the industrial side, I still use a 60-degree blade.
Okay.
So my rule of thumb is if it's really thin and detailed, I'm going to use a 60-degree blade. If it's the thicker product, I'm going to use a 60-degree blade. It's just got a sharper point. So what I advise to people, what I recommend to them, is I'll just say with your blade holder, take your blade holder out, put your 60-degree blade in there, and then lay your sheet of Brick 600 onto a table. And then what I do is I advance the blade to the thickness of the Brick 600. So I'll bring the blade out much further than normal, and I'll advance it, set it back into the vinyl cutter, and then I'll do my test cuts from there. And once you have your test cut and you see that it's cutting deep enough, it weeds fine, it's cutting all the way, so my offset is good, then it cuts like anything else. It's not a problem at all. The only difference, though, versus, like, say, Easyweed, is it does have a static carrier sheet. So it doesn't have the sticky, pressure-sensitive carrier sheet. So that's why I say it's very important to make sure that cut is good, because if you lift anything off, it's not going to lay back down onto the carrier.
Oh, okay.
So you want to make sure your cut is good.
there's always a technique or a tip.
I could go on for hours with techniques.
So Kelly said, I've read that brick is good for the bottom of socks.
Yeah,
I think that would be great. Almost like a
think there's so many different blog posts on that of people decorating the bottom of their socks, putting the little like pressure points with the Brick 600. Again, I use it for all sorts of stuff. I do it a lot on like my left chest with a little bit of a logo. I'll do it on the edge of something to kind of add some dimension to that. Like I said, I've done a ton of bags. It looks really awesome on hats, stadium seats. You can have shoes. That's another thing too, is you could decorate shoes. There's all sorts of different things that you can do with it. Another thing that became kind of a popular trend is actually mixing the Brick 600 and layering stretch over it and giving what we've been calling the embossed dimensional look. So you would cut out the shape that you want kind of popping out of your image, out of the Brick 600. Then you would take the color of your stretch, the Easyweed Stretch, and you would lay that over it, heat press it, and it actually causes it to take on the shape of the Brick 600, which gives it that embossed dimensional look at the end, which is very cool. And I have a YouTube video on that as well, showing that entire process. So it's kind of
like a cake decorator using fondant when they decorate the cake.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Food Network.
Absolutely. Gotta love it.
That's my channel. So, all right. So we're going to be out of time here in a minute. So Lucia's got a comment. She loves the Caesar Lumen. What is that? Caesar Lumen?
Okay.
Does it glow in the dark?
Yeah, but just to let you know, so again, Caesar, I work with Caesar North America. We're an Italian manufacturer, so our products are actually made over where Lucia is at. Well, obviously in northern Italy, though, in Vicenza, and that's where our products are actually manufactured. So over in our Caesar Italy branch, they call some of the products that we call something else. So over there, they don't really call it Easyweed, they call it PS film. So pressure sensitive film. And so there's a little bit of a difference. So the lumen is actually what we call Easyweed glow in the dark here.
Got it.
I like the lumen name better.
I do too. I like the
I like the OG options on a lot of them, but we have to do something a little bit different to cater to some of our audience.
Yeah, okay, that's all good.
You know,
that's all good. So I wanted to show your website again. This is where you can go if you want to find more information. And then, Joe, can I show your email address?
Sure, but just a heads up, like I'm happy to help you, but I don't do like direct anything outside of answering questions. If you're looking, again, the main email would be info@caesarna.com if you're looking for a distributor.
Okay.
And as for Alan, I'm sure you are as well, Marshall. I'm all over Facebook. So feel free to add me on there. I try to help everybody with these kind of tips and tricks through social media. So,
right.
And if you can't get a hold of him, just give me a jingle. I'll give you his personal cell phone, which I have.
Right.
And his address. Okay. No, I'm kidding. I won't do that.
And before we go, Alan, we have to talk about something that's starting next week. Do you know what it is?
Shirt Lab Summit.
A week from today. What is it?
Shirt Lab Summit.
That's right. Please sign up. It's free. Okay.
Oh, this is incredible.
And Joe, we need to get you involved in Shirt Lab. But Shirt Lab Summit is right now. It's 33 speakers, and there's some of these folks are just incredible, and it's completely free. So day one is a week from today, on the 19th, and so we've got 17 speakers on day one, and we have 16 on day two. And how it works is we're going to launch it on day one, and you can watch any of the videos in any order you want. And you've got 24 hours to watch, and then day two is going to appear, and day one videos go away, and the day two videos start, and it works the same way. You got 24 hours to watch. If you want to watch for longer than that, you need to upgrade, and the early bird thing to get when you go to the site is $47 for the all access pass. I recommend that, and especially if you're busy and you're not going to have time to watch crazy amount of videos, it's the best thing to do. But if you just want to watch for free, you're only interested in a couple things, get on there and watch it, and it's a fantastic event. So it's Shirt Lab Summit. We have a lot of fantastic people on there. Mike Michalowicz, who wrote Profit First, he's probably the most well-known guy. But we've got some fantastic speakers and lots of stuff in there from all over the map in the industry. So I highly recommend it.
And this is focused, Marshall, primarily on just sales and marketing. It's all it's focused
That's
on.
all sales and marketing. It's about how to do things better, how to sell more, how to market better, how to think up cool ideas. There's a fantastic episode with this woman from Canada. Her name is Marilyn Barefoot, and she runs creativity classes for companies like Nike and McDonald's and these big companies, where she's helping them think up new creative ideas for new products. That's her job. She's part of Shirt Lab Summit, and I interviewed her, and the stuff that is in that one is just amazing. So lots of goodness. So kind of want to throw that out there. So Cindy wants to know what time of day. Not sure. I'm going to say 10 o'clock Eastern, but I don't know.
Log on.
To be honest, sometime on the 19th, right? So I'll have to figure that out, right? I have to ask Tom. So anyway, So, Joe, what are you doing this weekend?
This weekend?
Yeah.
I don't. That I don't even know yet. I actually went out of town for the first time in an entire year a week ago. I went to visit my mom out in Cali, and it was first off beautiful to get out of the area for a while and see my mom first and foremost. But coming back here, back to reality in Michigan. Fortunately, here it has been quite beautiful the last few days. We're in like the 60s right now, which is sort of concerning, I suppose, for this time of the year in Michigan. But spring is 8 days away, so I'm sure I'm going to start prepping stuff for springtime. I don't even know. I got a lot of catching up to do. How about yourself?
Well, I'm got to finish up some stuff for Shirt Lab Summit, and then my kids on spring break. So I'm sure we're going to be doing some activities, maybe, and hopefully just goofing off some.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
So
Weekends are for.
You're going to binge watch a movie this week at all?
I don't know what we're doing.
Isn't there a movie out there we're talking about? Or said
There is a movie.
Yeah.
By the way, let me just show this in case you don't know.
Joe knows what's coming, and
Joe here is an actor. This is his IMDb database thing, right? And he's an actor. Look at all the stuff he's been in. Look at that.
he is a rock star.
That's crazy. And your new movie is called what?
45 Days to Be Rich.
And it is on Amazon Prime. I already watched it, and yeah, it was amazing. It was good to see you, Joe.
Thank you so much, Alan. I appreciate that for sure. That is, if you guys want to see a comedy in local, you're right. I mean, it's still a little indie film, but feel free. It is available on Amazon Prime. You can rent it, buy it. It's so far the reception's been good. But you can see, I mean, we've had some pretty decent reviews. And, yeah, it was just a fun project to do. I can't believe that. We shot that back in 2018 in the summer, and it's finally coming out.
And
what's your character in that movie? What do you do?
Well, it's a story about two brothers that are kind of, I guess I play the douchebag, if you will, and then I got the idiot brother, and we were promised that our mom, after her passing away, we were going to inherit a bunch of money. All we had to do was take care of a brother we didn't know we had for 45 days, and he ends up being more than we can handle. So it's just kind of running into a lot of weird dynamics and just kind of that classic raunchy National Lampoons type comedy. But,
great. That's awesome.
Yeah. Don't watch it with your kids, though.
No.
Kids under, it is a rated R film. Not that they probably haven't heard everything that's said in it, but,
And you know what? And you're just not in the movie. Joe is the star of the movie. So.
And by the way, here's something for you, Alan. Jim wants to know when your podcast is coming out.
Yeah, Jim, I'm ignoring that. So thank you. We couldn't go a podcast without that. Someone asking, Joe, hang on, and we'll tell you about that later. So I blame Marshall.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So let's get to some last minute comments, and we're going to have to wrap it up. So Hurley says, I noticed a change in the old stock brick to the new stock brick. It's more rubber silicone texture instead of foam. Is green and yellow moving to the silicone style?
Well, it's not. I'm not sure how that was phrased. So there wasn't a drastic change in our old stock of brick to the new stock of brick. The rubber silicone texture instead of foam, I don't know if there's confusion with a product that we brought on way early on called 3D Puff, or it was called 3D Techno. And that was a product that did, when the heat application happened, the product foamed up or puffed up. And I don't know if that is maybe what is thinking it was referred to. And to get, to quell any of the excitement about our puff product, yes, we discontinued it because it was a very temperamental product, and we have no intentions right now of bringing it back on. So That's probably not going to happen for a while. As for the red and green, or I mean, I'm sorry, yellow and green for brick, we do have a yellow and green in brick. I keep seeing the silicone word, and it's very deceiving because we don't have anything silicone.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that that's...
I think people like that texture because they see it on Nike or Under Armour garments, and they just like how that feels. Maybe that's what they're talking about.
And it's got a nice hand to it, the brick. It's not silicone, but it's got a nice feel of kind of a rubbery tight feel to it, but it isn't silicone. We do have a product called Twinkle, which is a glittered product, but the glitter is embedded inside the product, and it is a more of a silicone feel of any of our products we have. But again, it is kind of a sparkly product.
Right. So Hurley says, no, not the puff one. Red and black and white have a different texture than the yellow and orange. Oh, green, I mean. Right. So Hurley's typing as fast as he can.
Well, you know what, Hurley? Like I said, please contact us. Feel free to reach out to us. We'll hopefully answer any of those questions because we obviously want to make sure that you're using the correct brick product and make sure we can, remedy any of that issue. There really shouldn't be any drastic difference between the two, but I'd have to see what you're getting.
Right. And then just to wrap up, Lucia says, when's your movie going to arrive in Italy?
Well, again, that's where I got a little bit of lambasted. It wasn't my call. I don't know what's going on, but unfortunately right now on Amazon Prime, the film is only available in I think the USA. I want to say North America, but I think I've had people in Canada tell me they can't get to it either. So unfortunately, if you're outside of the U.S., I don't know why, but we have limitations on it. I've been bugging. I'll keep trying. You'll get it. I promise.
Okay. Well, we're a little over on time, so even though we have more comments, we're going to have to cut you off. Sorry. So thank you so much, Joe, for your time today. You've been great.
Thank you so much. Thank you both. Thank everyone that's watching. I can't appreciate it enough. Again, please reach out to us. We will help you any way we can. If you're looking for a distributor, any questions, make sure you follow our social media. We will be doing stuff constantly. Like right now, it's National Craft Month. We just did a huge giveaway. Pat was busy going and doing that on our Facebook Live. So please give it a follow. Make sure you share this as well. Give them a like. Do the things that social media needs.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Joe. Hey, don't go anywhere. We're just going to end the broadcast.
Okay.